thinking about religion, and on the other hand, there are people in his family who are exploring New Age stuff and Reiki healing, and he's like dealing with that, and he's absorbing that, and he's got a godfather who's like got into Zen meditation, who's dragging him all around Florida,
making semi-porn movies,
and so Fred,
sure, like most Zen masters we know,
and so Fred, and so Fred starts absorbing all of this stuff and all the crises in his life, and he starts meditating, and he starts just doing all this stuff, and life just becomes so much bigger than either this narrow conception of spirituality on the one hand, or this narrow conception of materialism on the other hand can handle. And so the book just explores what happens when you really.
I'm
go
really
into
looking
these
forward.
issues.
This sounds like everything we should be talking about. And unfortunately, we're the last question Michael asked. I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
Again,
so
what's moving around for the next project?
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, like
a lot of stuff.
Thank you for your clarity.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I just have a lot of ideas, and it's fun to be in this place where I've got a lot of ideas. One thing I'm thinking about doing is I'm at least thinking about writing a TV pilot and for an original dramatic series.
We used to talk about that here.
Yeah.
An hour of Live from the Heartland.
Really?
Yeah, you might get to know us better.
I mean, hanging around the bar, there's a lot of interesting conversations.
One last thing, you use the term in the book a couple of times, faith without ignorance. Yeah. And you also throw in spiritual emergency. Just give us a little hint of what that faith without ignorance is about.
So faith without ignorance is Fred's experimenter Mira has this phrase that this is what she wants to establish with this helmet experiment. Is because she explains to him, he has these experiences, and then she explains in detail, like scientific detail, everything they've done to him, which just drives him nuts because he's just had this incredible, profound experience, and then he gets the scientific explanation. He's like, what the hell am I going to do with that? But for me, this phrase "faith without ignorance" was something that evolved over the course of the book. It's like a Zen koan. It's like this riddle, because Fred thinks, well, what is faith without ignorance? Is that like saying a sky without air? Because ignorance is, faith is just like not knowing. That's what faith is. So, but then as he gets more into understanding this spiritual perspective, in Eastern religions, they have a whole different meaning for that word ignorance and what that means. And so, that word ignorance
Closer
takes
to
on
innocence.
all these different kinds. So that word takes on all these different kinds of importance and meanings in the book.
Wow,
Alex Shakar, I'm really glad to have met you. Both Barry Pierce and Russ Bradford speak very highly of you. I want to thank Russ for turning me on to the idea of bringing him on the show. Will you come back sometime?
Absolutely, Mike. This
All
has
right,
been great.
stick around and have some food, and we'll get to talk a little bit afterwards.
Will do.
Let's have a big round of applause for Alex Shakar. Let's get Kelly Cassidy up here next. And we're going to keep going with more Live from the Heartland. See you in a minute.
And once again, I'd like to remind people, those of you who knew